Hello and welcome to another Moarhammer battle report. I'm going to be taking you through the Legions of Nurgle against Skaven, those ratty bastards. This is a good game, 2,400 points, and here are the lists. So mine is exactly the same as the last game. We had Orgot's Demon Spew, the General, a Great Braysharm and the Swarmbringer, Mark of Nurgle, level 4, Law of Death, Jagged Dagger, Brass Cleaver, Talisman of Endurance, and the Terrifying Mask of E. I had a Herald of Nurgle, Octopus Prime, level 1, Law of Nurgle, Greater Locus of Fecundity, the Palanquin of Nurgle, and a Greater Gift. I had 19 Chaos Warriors, the Legion, Mark of Nurgle Shields, full command. I had 28 Plague Bearers of Nurgle, Pus Tide. I had a Gore Herd, the Bloat Goats, 10 of them. I had 10 Ungore, Ramrot, with Mark of Nurgle Musician. I had 3 Beasts of Nurgle, the Slobber Gobblers. And I had 5 Chaos Furies, the Pox Pixies, and then I had 3 Plague Drones of Nurgle, the Humbugs, with a Standard Bearer. Now, his list, he had the obligatory Grey Seer, Bitey. He had Queek Headtaker, his Chieftain, Scratchy, who was a BSB with a shield. He had Plague Priest, Smelly. And then he had Warlock Engineer, Itchy, who was level 1 with a Doom Rocket. Then he had a Warlock Engineer, Scratchy Jr., and he was level 1. And then another Warlock Engineer, Squeaky, who was also level 1. And yeah, I gave him those names. He didn't do that. I hope he doesn't listen to this. Anyway, then he had 20 Clan Rats with full command, 40 Queek Storm Vermin with full command, 40 Skaven Slays with a Champion and Musician, a unit of 5 Giant Rats with a Packmaster, and another unit of 5 Giant Rats with a Packmaster. He had 40 Plague Monks with a full command and a Plague Banner, a Doom Wheel, a Helped Abomination, and a Warp Lightning Cannon. So quite a lot of goodies in that Skaven list there. So here's a picture of deployments. I'm going to have to apologise for the quality of these pictures. The where we were playing is in sort of the top floor of a pub, and the theme is kind of German dungeon porn. It's kind of dark and miserable and dreary in there, so the lighting's fairly poor. You can see roughly what's going on, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue, but that's why the pictures aren't great. So on my right-hand side there, you've got my Humbugs, my Plague Drones. Next to them on the left is the Chaos Warriors. Then I've got my Slobber Gobblers, the Beasts of Nurgle, in the centre there. And off to their left is the Chaos Furies, and then the Plague Bearers of Nurgle with the Heralds. And just to their left is Orgot, you can't see him in the photo. On his side, on his far left there, or our far left, his right, you know what I mean, on the left there, is Queek Headtaker and his unit of Storm Vermin. Next you've got the Plague Priest and the Plague Priests, the Plague People, Plague Rats, whatever they're called, you know what I mean. Then there's a small unit of Giant Rats, which is next to the Helped Abomination. Directly behind the Helped Abomination is the Warp Lightning Cannon, and to the Warp Lightning Cannon's left is a unit of Gore. I took this picture after I got first turn and brought my ambushes on, so that's why they're there. He hasn't got a unit of Gore, they're mine. And they came on quite nicely. Anyway, to the Warp Lightning Cannon's right is his unit of 20 Clan Rats with Grey Seer and BSB installed, and they also had a Warlock Engineer in there. Then on the right is the big block of Skaven Slaves. There were 2 Engineers in there. Then on their right is the unit of Giant Rats, another one. And then far to the right there is the Doom Wheel. And if you just look to the top corner of the Doom Wheel, there's another unit of ambushes there. That's my Ungore Herd. They came on the side table edge, and I kind of put them there hoping that the Doom Wheel would go after them. And then I could kind of just escape from the wrath of that for a little while. So there's deployment. This is what first turn looks like. I just pushed forward. Nothing really happened at all. I managed to get Curse of the Leper off on his unit of Plague Monks, and then I got Rancid Visitations off, and I managed to do about 7 or 8 wounds, which is pretty tasty. He failed a bunch of those toughness tests, which was nice. And then in his turn, he kind of pushes everything forward a little bit. He does charge the Fury with his Helped Abomination. One of his giant rat darts goes backwards and moves in front of my Gore, just to stop him charging basically anything useful. His Doom Wheel does turn around and go into my Ungore, which was perfect for me. I was really hoping it would just use up a bit of time to save me from that. So yeah, that was fine. Here's a better picture of his Plague Priest getting Plague Wind or Rancid Visitation-ed, and his A-bomb going into my Furies. In his magic phase, he... Oh, actually, that's a good point. I should have probably mentioned it by this point so far. We were using Cane magic, and we weren't using any of the super spells, but we were using full Cane magic rules, so we all had all the spells, and we had to roll a d6 for what we were casting, and we were counting it as if you failed to cast a spell, that you can't use that spell, but a dispel was not a fail. If you dispel the spell, you can still attempt to cast it again. That's what we were playing. That's our interpretation of it. We agreed to it. If that's not how it's supposed to be played, fine. This is just how we played it. Anyway, so he skitter-leaped one of his Warlock engineers to the side of my plague drones and then cast Crack's Call, which is kind of shit. So two of my plague drones went straight down a bloody hole, which was ideal. But then we go into combat, and his A-bomb kind of attacks my Furies. Rolls that one where you get 3d6 automatic hits or something, which is terrible because it means the whole reason I've got Mark of Nurgle is to stop getting hit. And then, boom. He rolls 7 dice and only gets 1 wound, wounding on a 2+. It was amazing. I couldn't help but laugh at that. So he kills... I fail that save, so he kills... 1 Fury, and I actually managed to do a wound back as well, so my Furies slap his A-bomb into the face and take a wound off. So he charged, got a wound, I got a wound, he wins by 1, I lose another Fury. So I've got 3 Furies that are holding up his A-bomb, which was fantastic. Oh yeah, and he rolled like a 1 for his Thunderstomp again. It was a bloody hell of a lot of 1s there. So my turn, I start sending stuff in. Orgots goes into Queek Headtaker and his cronies. The beasts and the remaining plague drone just flying to the front of the Skaven slaves. I'm kind of just trying to... I want to kind of break them, get rid of them, and hopefully they'll explode and do most of the damage to him. I need to get through them. I managed to get in my magic phase. I get Curse of the Leper and Rance's Visitations off on his Plague Priests again. Does a couple more wounds, nothing too major. He dispels pretty much the rest of my phase. Then we go into combat, and he spent most of the time up to this point of the game telling me how amazing Queek Headtaker is and how he gets +1 to hit and wound in challenges, and he's got this armour that reflects back. So I was like, oh, okay, Orgots will probably be able to deal with him. Went in, rolled my attacks. Well, he rolled his attacks first, and we were striking at the same time. I did nothing. He did nothing because he's only got a handful of attacks and I'm better. And then I attack back and do 8 wounds. He just died. It's like a sack of shit. It was great. I really enjoyed that. So in his turn, he charges my Plague Bearers with the Plague Priest. Help It goes into the Beast of Nurgle. And that was kind of it. So in his magic phase does very little. In this picture you can see just at the top there, you've got that little Warlock Engineer with the little prod thing. He cast Skitterleap, miscast it, so jumped over there, and then his miscast result was an 11. So he lost D3 wizard levels. So now he's not a wizard. So he jumped over there, lost his wizard level, so now he can't cast anything. His idea was he was going to jump over there and cast Crack's Call down the unit of Plague Bearers and just do a buttload of initiative tests and kill a load of them. But I can't wait now, because now he's just a single rat without any special abilities or magic items. So that was quite entertaining. But this combat had me a bit nervous. We went into the combat phase, and he used his Plague Banner, which is to reroll all hits and wounds. Which I know he's still hitting me on 5s and wounding me on 5s, but that's a lot of attacks and a lot of rerolls. I mean, they're frenzied. They've got 2 hand weapons and they're in horde formation. We're talking about 45-ish attacks. That's going to do some serious damage, isn't it? No, not really. He kills like 4, which was pitiful. I attack back, do a whole bunch of damage, but he makes his break check. So yeah, there was that. But now he's on borrowed time now. He just did nothing to that unit of Plague Bearers, and yeah, he didn't flub his attack so much as I just made an exceptional amount of regeneration rolls. It was quite good. But I'm not going to pay too much heed to that. So elsewhere on the board, my that unit of Gore that had that giant rat dart in front of it. They finish off the giant rats. And I notice an opening. And I take it. Look at that. Managed to get to the side of his grey seer bunker. And the little weirdly painted white and red model there is his grey seer. So he's really on the wrong side of that. So I was quite looking forward to that. It was I was planning on the entire time going for the warp lightning cannon. But my reform after killing the rats just got me. I could see this, and it was just a too good an opportunity to miss, because I know what happens to Skaven when you take their grey seer away from them. My shooting and magic phase, nothing really happened. I got Doom and Darkness and Soul Blight off on his A-bomb. I charged it in the side with my block of warriors, hoping to do some damage. It's down to toughness 4 now, so that should be fine. And in this combat phase, I managed to roll a double 1 for my Primal Fury test on those Gore. So I put about 8 attacks into his Grey Seer and destroy him. It was quite fun, because there was just these units of Gore never do anything. And then his BSB makes way, moves to the side so he can attack the Gore, hopefully kill a few and get some combat res. And he dies too. These Gore are destroying things, but I don't do any damage. Maybe kill one clan rat. But now they've lost their Grey Seer, they've lost their BSB, they fail their break check, they run. I don't catch them, they bounce through the slaves, and I finish my over and about inch away from the slaves, so that's disappointing. But I'm not going to complain too much, I just kill his entire hierarchy of leadership. So that was nice. Then over here, my Plague Bearers nearly wipe out the rest of the Plague Monks. They fail a break check, they flee, and they get caught down and run down by the Plague Bearers, which was terrific. All that's there is he's just passing time by chewing through the Skaven, the Storm Vermin. I'll let you know right now, I don't think I actually have another picture of him. He spends the rest of the game chewing through these guys. He kills them, every single one to a man. There's not a single one left. He reforms later, and there's nothing for him to do. That's why he's not, but that's what happens there. I'll just ruin that for you here. And then over here, it goes pretty well. Thanks to the Soul Blight, my warriors managed to chop down the A-bomb, which I was really, really pleased with. I'm terrified of these things. My army has no flaming attacks in it, so it's monsters with regen are really tough for me to deal with. So I was really glad they managed to do that. Brilliant! It's like, bloody hate those things. So that was great. And Soul Blight did definitely help. And then he rolls a 6. 6s. And the damn thing comes back to life, and he rolls his wounds, and he rolls a 6 again. I don't want to deal with A-bombs anymore, they're horrible. So he puts that up just behind the beasts. We weren't sure if a spell that's cast on an A-bomb that comes back to life stays. We ended up rolling for it, and we decided that it did stay, which was good for me, I suppose. Then there's here, I know we did this slightly out of sequence, his A-bomb shouldn't be up yet, but we go into the Skaven Slaves combats, and my beasts and remaining play drone destroy them. Do enough to win combat, they break, they can't reroll, there's no BSB nearby, and they explode everywhere. They actually do very little damage to pretty much anything, which is disappointing, I suppose, but he's doing more to me now than him, so that's fine. Then over here, his Doom Wheel flies in out of nowhere and blows apart my last Plague Drone, but then the next closest model is his Hell Pit Abomination. He fires, he hits, he wounds, he fails his regen save, and then takes 6 wounds. Oh, it was glorious. Absolutely just blew his A-bomb to pieces out of absolutely nowhere. It was fantastic. And as you can see, he was really happy about it. Oh, it was glorious. So yeah, that was great. And at that point, he called it. All he had left was a warp lightning cannon, his Doom Wheel, and he was totally out of place. So we called the game there, and there you have it. So again, another win to the Nurgle Legions, which I'm pretty happy about. Pretty decisive win. I had still a lot on the table. I still had Orgots, still had the Plague Bearers, still had the Warriors. Pretty much had everything. I lost my Furies, I lost my Plague Drones, but that was about it. So, I lost my Ungor, I suppose. So, yeah, great. So yeah, thank you for watching the battle report. Thank you for making it to the end. I know the pictures have been really shit. I'm sorry. These pictures were actually taken before I decided to do battle reports, so they're not exactly thorough. So yeah, apologies for that. But the next ones will be better. Please don't leave. Yeah, so feel free to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at More War Games. And yeah, thank you very much. Bye.